In today's video, I do want to speak about 4 different players, and it is going to be about Frenkie de Jong, Eric Garcia, Andreas Christensen, and Lewandowski. 4 of these players have one thing in common, and that is about their contract extension, whether we should extend their contracts, yes or no. And if we want to say yes to their contract extension, why is that? Why should we renew a player like Frenkie de Jong, Eric Garcia, Andreas Christensen, or Lewandowski? Over the past year, Barcelona have done one thing, and that is to renew as many players as possible. We have renewed Bernal, we have renewed Marc Casado, Lamine Yamal, Cubarsí, Alejandro Balde, and many players. But there are 4 players left, and all of their contracts do expire on June 30th, 2026. So let's talk about Frenkie de Jong first. Now, Barcelona do want to renew the player. The player also wants it, but talks are going on very, very slow. The whole idea is to renew Frenkie until June 30th, 2029. It was expected that his extension was going to happen during the preseason tour in Asia, but Frenkie de Jong had other words to say, and this is what he said: "I haven't signed yet because otherwise you would have seen it already, but I'm very happy at Barcelona, and I know the club is happy with me, so I'm going to renew." And the reason why his renewal has been delayed is because of 4 different reasons. Point number 1, there was this legal dispute between Frenkie de Jong and his former agent Ali Dursun, an agent that was blocking the talks. And then we had FC Barcelona asking Frenkie de Jong to clarify his new representative before progressing. Then point number 3, he has now brought in another agent named Sebastian, and it took a lot of time for him to really register himself as the agent of Frenkie de Jong. And then lastly, any sort of meetings that was going to happen between Barcelona, Frenkie de Jong, and the agent, it wasn't even set until August 20th, which was like about 9 to 10 days before the transfer window was going to close, and Barcelona had other things to do, like register the players that they needed to register. So there has been a lot of complications, especially when you add in the fact that Frenkie is owed deferred payments and how Barcelona are going to be able to restructure his deal so his new contract can fit in through the new financial fair play rules. All in all, Barcelona's stance is this: they have no doubt about his continuity, and they think that he is a essential piece for Hansi Flick's Barcelona. So he is keen to renew. Even though right now he is injured, it does not matter. Frenkie de Jong eventually is going to get better. He will come back and he will start next to Pedri, as he always does. So in my opinion, because we have players like Bernal, Casado, Gavi, and Pedri, I believe that within a system that contains 2 defensive midfielders, we always need at the very least 6 midfielders that can play in those positions. So Frenkie is a player that I would like to add into the squad for the next couple of years, because we just don't know what's going to happen to Casado. We don't know what's going to happen to Bernal. So Frenkie is here to stay. And so for his renewal, I do give it the green light. Moving on towards the next player, and that is about Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia's renewal is near completion. The whole idea is for him to renew until 2030. And according to Mundo Deportivo, the reason why the renewal has not finished with Eric Garcia is because of the financial issues, very similar to what happened with Frenkie de Jong. So they have put his renewal aside, but they very much know that Eric Garcia will get the renewal. He will stay. And the reason why he's so important is because Eric Garcia has shown that he can be a reliable right back. Flick surprisingly even said that Eric Garcia did deserve to start over Jules Koundé for the match against Mallorca. He stated, "In the preseason, Eric has been very good and deserved to play. That is all. As a coach, I make decisions based off the players' performances." And so, you know how we talked about how, oh yeah, the reason why Jules Koundé is on the bench and Eric Garcia starting on the right back position is because Koundé is injured. That whole thing was false. The reason why Eric started over Koundé is simply because Eric has shown that he is better, which is surprising, because when we talk about Jules Koundé in the right back position, we talk about a player who can be the best right back in the world. And you're going to tell me that a player like Eric Garcia has the capacity to sit down a player like Jules Koundé? It's insane. Last season, Eric Garcia made 45 appearances in all competitions, having 8 goal contributions, including a goal against Inter Milan in the Champions League semifinal second leg. Once again, he was used across the center back positions, the right back positions, in the midfield. He has been praised for his versatility and great tactical IQ. So it is expected for his renewal to be done before Christmas of 2025. And in my opinion, based off Eric Garcia's level and how reliable he is in terms of, like, even with his physical fitness and where he can play on the pitch, to me, with Eric Garcia's renewal, it deserves a renewal. So I do give it the green light. Now moving on towards the next player, and that is Andreas Christensen. So as of now, surprisingly, there is no plan to renew the player as of right now, because I have not heard any sources. I have not heard from anybody in Barcelona stating that Barcelona want to renew Christensen. And once again, his contract does expire on June 30th, 2026. We're literally like 9 months away from that date. The fact that we're hearing that Deco and Barcelona do not plan to renew his deal at this stage of the season, I really do think that if Christensen continues to impress and he scores goals, he provides more goal contributions, he's reliable as a defensive center back, then his situation could change. It really does depend on the season, and Christensen has more opportunity than ever before. With Inigo Martinez leaving, it does increase the opportunities for Christensen. Flick also does value Christensen, and he expects him to play even more and to be called on. He did miss most of the 2024-2025 season due to injuries, but he has recovered well, and he's currently very fit. Like, for example, in the World Cup qualifiers, there was a match between Denmark and Greece, and Denmark Park won this game 3-0, with Christensen being one of the goal scorers and had a rating of 8.5. In this match, he scored 1 goal, provided 100 touches, which was the most, 83 accurate passes, the most, 94% pass accuracy, which is the second most, 6 passes into the final third, 1 accurate long ball, 10 defensive actions, which is the second to the most, 6 recoveries, 4 duels won with an 80% win success rate. And then he also had a match before that where they played against Scotland. It did end 0-0, but Christensen still ended with a 7.2 rating. So 2 really great performances from Christensen, and he is becoming very reliable. Once again, knowing that we have lost Inigo Martinez, we only really do have Araujo and Kubarsi. Maybe Eric Garcia can also be called on, but looking at Christensen's form, he should be our first choice center back in the pecking order. When he's fit, he's the best that we have. He's very composed, good in the air, excellent on the ball. He's extremely smart. He is everything that Hansi Flick does need from a center back. So even though it does not seem like Barcelona are interested in a renewal, I would like to see Barcelona renew the player for maybe 2 more years. So a contract until June 30th, 2028 would really not be that bad. So I give his renewal the green light. Now moving on towards the last player, and this is where things get very interesting, because with Robert Lewandowski, there is no decision and the club is going to wait. And the reason why is because with Lewandowski, he is our oldest player. I believe he is. Maybe Szczesny is older, but all in all, in terms of outside of the goalkeeper position, Lewandowski is our oldest player, and no decision has been made, which is insane to me. There is no signs of him slowing down. However, the fact that Lewandowski has gotten injured over the past month and a half, maybe this could be the reason why Barcelona do not want to have any talks with him yet. If Barcelona do have talks with him and they plan to do a renewal, they're basically saying that they would like to keep Lewandowski at the age of 38 years old. So this decision about going for a renewal is going to be depending on his form, his role, the transfer market developments, and how he does react towards becoming a backup striker to Ferran Torres, because Ferran Torres is becoming the main number 9. Look at what Ferran Torres has been doing with the Spanish national team. Very consistent, scoring goals with Spain, scoring goals with FC Barcelona. He has had a very strong start right next to Lamine Yamal. And could it stay in this way? Who knows? Maybe it could. And so to see Lewandowski take on the secondary role behind Ferran Torres, if it goes all the way like this until the summer of 2026, it would not be surprising to hear that Barcelona are going to part ways with Lewandowski at the age of 38 years old, and Barcelona just say, okay, look, your wages are no longer going to be a problem with us. You're going to have to leave, or sorry, and they move on towards a player like Erling Haaland or Julian Alvarez. Let's remember, Saudi Arabia, I'm talking about all of the clubs in Saudi Arabia are interested in Lewandowski. There was a lucrative offer back in the summer of 2025, which has been rejected by Lewandowski, but another one may come in 2026, and maybe that could be the year. That could be the year Lewandowski does leave. Now let's remember, this is not Barcelona trying to disrespect Lewandowski, nor am I trying to justify why Lewandowski is not good anymore. Lewandowski is still good. He can still score goals. However, if there is that chance in the summer of 2026 for us to upgrade our quality in the striker position, we must take that chance. However, Lewandowski is more enthusiastic than ever before. This is what he said after the match with Poland. Before, I didn't take the risk of playing from the first minute. I knew the season for me would start in September. I was preparing for that. It was my first real match where everything was fine. I didn't have to think about anything. For me, the season is just starting. I didn't even want to play in those August matches. And so that is why Lewandowski went on to score and assisted a goal for Poland's 3-0 win over Finland. And with this momentum that he is carrying, he is hoping to score his first goal with Barcelona very soon, and hopefully against Valencia. All in all, whatever does happen with Lewandowski, to me, Lewandowski will always be considered a legend for FC Barcelona. And I say that because he came during a situation where Barcelona were really in the hole financially and sportingly. We were not at their best ever since those transfers happened in the summer of 2022, where we saw Lewandowski, Rafinha, Christensen, Garcia come in, and that really did save us towards really bringing us towards another level. Lewandowski said yes, he could have gone somewhere else, but he wanted to join FC Barcelona. When I look at his whole career, I think that his legacy is going to be extremely undervalued. People are not going to be looking at his legacy and what he has done in his career as much as they should be. Like, he could have won the Ballon d'Oro back in 2020 that was cancelled. He scored 15 plus goals in 10 game UCL seasons. He scored 80 or more goals for Poland. He has scored 100 plus goals, plus has already won 5 trophies in just under 3 seasons for FC Barcelona. He is definitely going to go down as one of the most underrated strikers of all time. But all in all, if Ferran Torres continues with this type of consistency and level, and we get into the summer of 2026, knowing that we have the capacity to sign players and strikers that we do want especially, I would just say that for now, Lewandowski is not a player I would like to renew, and we'll just see how things do evolve in a couple of months. So I do not give Lewandowski's renewal the green light. That is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.